Surprise.
Welcome to the Halloween episode. This is about ghosting. I just broke up with Leah. And
right here. You're talking to me right now.
Are you sure? This is where I edit. Boom, I'm gone.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You are not going to do that.
Cinema.
You are not even going to edit this episode.
No.
That's cinema. You heard it.
Are you guys ever scared that you're going to be taken over by a demon named Hanakalatis?
Named what?
Hanakalatis.
Hakuna Matata?
Henry?
Henry. Yeah, what's up with me in H's? Henry Colatis.
What is up with you in H's?
My little sister at my dad's old house, which is very old, said she had a friend named Hanakalatis.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Hana Coladas?
And she was like 3.
Like Pina Coladas?
Yeah.
But
He was a good time.
Like Santa Claus?
One
If
could
you
hope,
like
but
Hana
no.
Coladas
And
and getting scared in the dark.
Falling leaves.
Well, I mean, those are decent songs, but it's no Leah's Worm, but we'll leave that in.
What's the spooky version of Leah breaking her knee?
There was Leah.
Carving a pumpkin.
Carving a pumpkin.
Stab
Why is it
yourself
always
in.
me? I have a lot of unfortunate things happen to me.
Well, you were the star of the
Yeah.
original song and story.
That's true.
Sorry that you're
I'm
the
a
star.
star.
I've seen it.
Yes. Okay. I was going to ask.
And we're both like, what's going on?
That's me in the opening credits of every movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm lost.
Someone explain this
You
to
did
me.
say that literally like 3
Yeah,
days
yeah,
ago
yeah.
as soon as the movie started.
I'm like, guys, I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, we're here today on Halloween.
Beetlejuice.
Easy. We already got the candles going. Henry's in that corner, and the Ouija board's over there. And you want to fuck around?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, spooky prices.
Did we do an intro yet?
I'm just here having fun with my friends.
Oh.
Oh, there's
okay.
a camera here, and you put. Oh,
What? Are we recording?
this is
He's
so
really
silly.
trying to push the season
I
2 on us, you
know.
know?
We
Guys,
give
we're
him
in
an
the
inch, and he takes a mile.
Did you know
middle
that you're
of it.
wearing headphones?
An inch goes a long way.
What?
What?
Huh?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, guys, we have a podcast to do.
It is Halloween.
It
Happy
is
Halloween.
We have our candles lit to really set the scene. If you're listening to this, know that there's fire near us.
Very low energy. We're like, we're here at Halloween.
Yeah, none of this.
Are we using any of this?
Guys, I'm feeling kind of possessed. That'll just be a clip on its own. Beetlejuice.
Well, don't fucking do it again.
Candyman.
We don't have a mirror. The setting's not right.
Candyman. I'm not saying it in it.
Don't say that. It's behind
Oh,
me.
actually, that just really. I got what I want to talk about this episode.
Candyman.
Stop. Save it for the episode. I'm gonna go get that mirror.
Candyman.
Is his name Henry by chance?
Honestly, same.
Ooh, honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
same. Honestly,
Honestly,
same.
same. Honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
Honestly, same.
Hello, everybody,
guys.
and happy Halloween.
What a scary beginning to this episode.
This is the spookiest episode of Honestly Same there has ever been, and you can tell because it's slightly darker, but not that much darker. The lights are different
We're
colors.
working with what we got.
And there's
we
candles.
Have candles.
And we have candles.
We have performed an entire seance before rolling
So
on
if
this
things
episode.
get funky with Ross as we're going,
Candyman. Boom! All 5. Yep. We're getting fucked up this episode.
we are getting fucked
We're
up.
getting Beetlejuice and Candyman both showing
Yeah.
up. They're going to fight it out. It's going to be great.
I don't see Beetlejuice being the type to fight, though. I see him being like, run away.
He'll dance around him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, hey, we're not dancing around. This being a brand new episode of Honestly Same. I'm Ross.
I'm Brittany.
Oh, fuck. We didn't do it spooky.
I'm Leah, and I can't top that, so.
Damn, that was good. You're the only spooky
I
person
am merely a
here.
ghost.
Damn. Well,
You are wearing white.
I am.
yeah, you're what conjured up when we did that seance.
Yeah, I showed up. You guys were just hanging out. And
Yeah. That's why we didn't know we were doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we didn't know we were doing this.
She's like, are
Halloween.
you guys hanging out without me? That would
I
be
said,
me.
well, I'm here.
All
I might as well sit down.
You conjured me up. We decided to do a really fun spooky episode because, of course, I mean, conveniently this year, Halloween is literally on our release day, which is Tuesdays, every single Tuesday. So we
Yes.
figured we have to make
Happy Tuesday.
a Halloween ep special. That's
Ep
a
special.
That's a throwback
no.
for one person who understands that, and it's probably just Brittany.
Yeah.
And that's it. No one else is going to get that joke, even though you were a part of it, but you don't remember that specific thing. I'm talking about Poltergeist. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Okay.
Well, yeah,
You
whatever.
just said a lot of words.
I did say a lot of words. And let's say some more words about all the spooky stuff that we love. What are we
Yeah.
going to talk about this episode? We really don't have a really
No, we just
particular
want to talk
thing.
about things we love.
We just wanted to get into spooky zone, and that was really it. We lit some candles, we dimmed the lights.
So have a good day. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we sort of just wanted to hang out in,
with you.
in spooky mode with you guys. So
and candles. There's a
what do you want to
lot.
talk about? I was asking the audience.
Oh,
They'll pop up on the live
Yeah,
stream.
totally.
So
All
what
of
do you
our
guys
friends.
want to talk about? What about the spooky stuff that we love? Why the heck do we even want to make a Halloween episode in general? Let me ask you this.
Let me look at your cheat sheet.
Are we one of those people who just say, oh my God, it's spooky season, so fun? I would say that maybe we actually like
spooky
spooky
season
all year round.
Yeah, is 365.
Yeah, I would say for each and every one of us.
But it really does ramp up in October. I'm obsessed with, like, I will share this entity.
An entity.
Thank you. With anyone, like, even the people that are, we get into October and they're like, it's spooky season. You're late, but welcome to the party.
Yeah, I'm like, I've been here since January
Yes.
1st of last year.
I was born into spooky season, February 7th, 1995.
I wonder do either of you remember what initially got you into loving spooky things?
I feel like I'm biased. I was born in October, so my birthday was the 20th. Hello, yes. I think that was part of it. Like being
Okay.
born so close to it, I feel like it was just immediately was like, yes, this is my time to
Yeah,
shine.
you're getting celebrated within this.
Yes. So it was
Yeah.
always my favorite time of year. I think when I actually because I was actually afraid of everything as a kid. So I feel like when I finally was actually into the idea of spooky stuff, my friends and I started watching the Michael Myers, every single Michael Myers movie when we were in, I want to say the 7th grade. Rented all of them. We would go down my friend Katie's basement. Her mom would get really upset because she did not want us watching those movies, and we would do it anyway.
Good times.
Fair enough.
So I would say that was my big oh, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Man, you were born in spooky season. That's
Bless you.
what was that?
I can't think of a spooky way to say bless you, so it came out like
Bless you.
bless you.
Curse you.
Watermelon.
Curse.
I have a couple. I would say when I don't know how old I was, but I want to say I was under 10. I went to a kid Halloween party in a basement. We were all dressed up.
The
There
2000s were great
games.
for that.
There was Punch. There was a movie on the basement TV. There was Monster Mash playing.
Wow.
And it's a core memory. I don't
Yes.
remember many things from that young, and that one just really stuck with me. And then waking up watching Scream in the middle of the night, that got me because I was like, this is genius. This is everything. I'm going to base my whole personality around you.
Perfect.
And then my mom used to have Halloween parties for us, but it was just a family thing. But we did Ouija board. We would tell stories, and she would make food based on the story. She did this story about a guy getting his finger cut off, and then we all had to bite into hot corn dogs.
What?
And one of them had a pretzel in it, so that's how you bit into the finger. Only one, so you would take
That's
turns.
so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we would, when we would have the party, it was my two cousins, my brother, and my mom and my aunt, and we would turn the house into a haunted house. But it was the kids as we were the attraction. So my mom and my aunt had to go through the house, and we would try to scare them.
What a blast.
Yeah, we had Halloween is our Christmas.
Yeah.
We're yeah. Let's open presents on Christmas. We're going to put a tree up because that's what people do, I guess. But we were going to haunted houses, multiple haunted houses. That's what we did. I actually have I could take this whole episode talking about my childhood and how we celebrated Halloween.
Go ahead and
Yes,
do
I
that. We
love
have
that.
no basis of what this episode is being built off of. So
But I will say we went to, it's not there anymore. A tornado got rid of the house that it was at, but there was a haunted house called Gates of Terror. There was 3 different things. It was a corn maze, a clown house, and then a huge just huge farmhouse that you would walk through, and that was the haunted house. They
Oh, wow.
used that as the attraction. It wasn't, kind of like Mansfield, where they're utilizing what is there
Yes.
because that's already scary. And I just remember They did so well. I truly think this would be like the number one haunted house if it was still here. There were dolls walking down the stairs, and there were strobe lights. So like the dolls are walking, like baby dolls, walking downstairs that you have to go up. And then there was a room. Oh my God, I loved it so much. Me and my mom still talk about this all the time. I think it was 5 doors, and they could shift like what is behind the door, but you have to open the doors to get out of this room. So know you're opening the door to someone to scare you or whatever. But you might have to open that door again, even though you're really scared. Like, oh shit, there was someone on the toilet there, but that ultimately is probably the door you need to go through. They're going to move the room. And it was just so fun. It was so well put together. I'm so lucky I got to experience that. I have been to very few haunted houses that like were scary or impressive at all. And that one was so good. I just remember it was so interactive going through those doors.
Absolutely.
And then, again, like a guy being on a toilet being like, hey, I'm in here. And then you're like, oh my God, literally so sorry. You open a door, there's a dude with a chainsaw. Like,
oh my gosh.
That is actually incredible. I don't know where
yours came from.
My love of all things spooky started. I don't have like a specific core thing for as long as I can remember. I just loved, obviously it all started with like scary movies.
But was there a time you can remember where you were watching a specific movie and you're like, I love this feeling?
I more so remember going to the local video store and just always darting to the horror movie section.
Were you afraid to round the corner and Pennywise just being right there on that white case? Because that shit scared the fuck out of me.
That's fair. I was more afraid of Chucky.
Fair.
Showing up but I also like wanted a Chucky doll, which didn't make much sense. And my dad was like, no, because
I don't want that
you're
in my
gonna
house.
be afraid of it. And I'm like, no, but it's cool. And then I would be like, oh no, that actually would be.
I was having
be kind of scary.
A sleepover at a friend's house. Sorry, guys. Remember when I was like, I have nothing to say in this episode. I will be here. And I went to the bathroom, and it was not her house. It was like a cousin. You know when you just like get transported with your friends? They're like, we're going to go to my aunt's house. And you're like, okay, I'm along for the ride. Yeah. And this bathroom was down this like really, really creepy hall, which that was already going to fuck me up. I'm a scaredy cat. As much as I love all of this stuff.
It's more fun if you're a scaredy cat.
Yeah. I'm a big scaredy cat. And I went to the bathroom, opened the door, Chucky at the end of the hall. Chucky was standing at the end of the hall.
Oh, that's incredible.
And I didn't know that they had that doll.
That sucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sucked so bad.
Oh, that's awful. Did you just scream?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then they say, hee.
Oh
it's just a doll. I'm like, I know it's a fucking doll.
I watched the movies.
That's the problem.
It is a doll. He kills everybody.
It always starts off as just a doll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like as a kid, I would be often terrified of like, oh my God, I don't want to walk into that room by myself. It's dark.
Yeah.
But also, any chance I ever got, I was like, I want to watch every horror movie ever made. I loved ghost hunting shows growing up. That was my absolute favorite thing. But I don't ever like, outside of just remembering how much fun, like you said, like Halloween, October, fall in general, as a kid, like that was my Christmas.
It's
also
transcendent. It feels totally different than the rest of the year.
It literally does. And like I remember how stoked I would be to like help decorate the house and go get pumpkins and like do all the things of like, all right, now it's time for the Halloween decor. Like decorating for any holiday when you're a kid is like fun. But for some reason, Halloween was always like the most favorite top thing every single year for me. And I don't know what to trace that back to. Like even thinking about like
trick or treat.
Of course, yes, trick or treat, very fun. Dressing up, super fun. But I don't know what to like there's other things in my life that I can remember like an adult in my life introducing me to, right? Like, oh, it was one of their things that they liked. And then I got introduced via that and then started to love it. I don't know where the love for spooky things started.
And I think it's sort of like Christmas for a lot of people. A lot of people love Christmas because as a small, like little baby, it's just something that happened every year and it was just part of life. And it's something where you're like, oh my gosh, I know that this time is coming. I know that I'm getting gifts. So it's sort of another holiday that's just worked into your, who doesn't want to put a baby in the cutest costume ever and be like, look at this.
Right.
I made this. So I feel like it's just something that like we dress up. You get to be whatever you want
Yes.
without judgment for one whole day. And then you get free candy.
And it's the feeling, like, I just felt different, like almost like out of
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
walking around trick-or-treating.
Right.
We used to go in my grandma's like trailer park, and like it was one of those trailer parks where everyone knows each other, very community. Everyone kept up their yard. It was like a really fun place to be, and they had like almost every house had full-size candy bars. They did not. They pulled out all the stops. And one year there was a Michael, and now it happens everywhere, but it still gives me the feeling when I was younger. There was a Michael Myers that just would stare at the kids when they were trick-or-treating, as Michael does.
I've also,
and
experienced
everyone
that.
sees this, but between that happening and H2O, the movie coming out, and my mom, we went to my mom's friends and watched it, and that's still in my top 5 horror movies. That's the best Halloween. My brother grew a huge phobia. I don't know if I've talked about this on this podcast. The theme song used to set him off, and he was terrified. He would burst into tears. And he used to have nightmares about Michael Myers every night, I think for 10 years.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and now he loves horror. Like, he loves horror. He's got not a Voodoo account, but one of those accounts that you can buy movies online.
Mm-hmm.
He's got every horror movie on there.
Wow.
Every Halloween. He's grown out of it, but there was like 10 years where he would have nightmares about Michael. My mom wasn't allowed to have like our VHSs anymore if Michael was like on the cover.
That's crazy.
Everywhere plays the theme song.
Of
Like
course.
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah.
And I remember my dad like being a chode, and sorry, Dad, playing it on his phone because he thought it would be funny, and just my brother like losing his mind.
Yeah. My mom actually had like, even hearing that song, like she was this, not like to that degree,
Yeah.
but like she doesn't like the movies. She doesn't like any, she's so freaked out by them.
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
so scary. Like, the theme song is scary.
yeah.
It's just too
And
good.
well, and what it was for her, she goes, I was like, why does this freak you out? Like, why that movie? Like, I know that it's a great freak. I mean, it literally, again, was like the thing where I was like, I freaking love scary
Yeah.
movies. And she was like, because it's just a psycho with a knife. That
It's
could
true.
literally
Right,
happen.
right,
and I
right.
was like, that's
Especially the
touche.
first one. Like,
Yeah.
just straight up, you're babysitting someone's kids,
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the couch, chilling, and then now you're dead. That
Yeah.
shit's scary.
Like, oh, it's Halloween. Somebody escaped from like prison, and like there's just somebody.
Haddonfield Reformatory. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
literally like, well, guess what? Somebody's on the loose with a freaking knife.
What outside of the movies do you feel like got you more involved in like the paranormal, weird, spooky world? Like, for me, it was like I loved like the ghost hunting shows, but I also like learned that I just love like anything weird and creepy. I was
Yes.
just instantly like when like, and the older you get, the more you find out about like conspiracies and mysteries and all that sort of stuff. And then like at some point creepypastas start becoming a thing. and,
Creepypastas
like,
fucked me up in high school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
They got
believe
me
any
some
of them?
good. I don't necessarily know if I believe them, but the Smiling Man one, just being able to picture it,
Yeah.
really,
yeah,
really messed me up. Where he's just like standing in the middle of the road smiling. That
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
because there's so many times that you're walking through a parking lot, just you, and it's like the air is dense. There's nothing around you, and my brain's just like Smiling Man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens to me.
That's
that one
fair.
messed me
Yeah.
up.
I remember the first image I saw of Slender Man was presented as like, look at this old photo that someone found. It got me at the beginning.
like,
At the beginning,
He will be killing me.
I was like, oh damn, like this is some crazy shit. Like, thank
Yeah.
goodness people on the internet started to talk about this. And then
I still kind of believe in Slender Man.
it took me longer than I care to admit to be like, wait, creepypastas? That's what
Yeah.
Slender Man is. Like, it took me a moment because I didn't immediately become aware of what creepypastas were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
I
like, this is
just-
a story that I've been told.
Yes, I just saw the result of them
Mm-hmm.
on the internet when things start going viral of things like Slender
And back
Man.
then, like stuff going viral was like big. Like
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
actually spreading as a thing.
Yes.
There wasn't an immediate like
yeah,
thing in
there
a
was
comment
no
section that was like,
debunking. There was no
No.
anything. It was all like, this is just a big deal. You had no like sources. Like, it was I mean,
The other one that I believed at first, and I wish it wasn't a creepypasta, is the Russian sleep experiments.
yes.
Are you familiar with that? Oh, it's so good. It's basically just like
That was, I think, the only one I read.
There's like the iconic image that goes with it is like there's a black and white image of like it almost kind of looks like the Smiling Man, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just like this kind of deformed human sitting on the edge of a bed, an old black and white photo, and he's like his eyes are super sunken in, and he's got, of course, a big smile because that's what everybody goes to. When you see it now, you'd be like, a little fake.
Yeah.
When you see it back then, you're like, how did this happen to a human?
Yeah.
But like the story is like this group of Russian soldiers were like locked in this room to be test subjects of like a bunch of different gases and all this sort of stuff by scientists to see like what effects they would have on humans and all this sort of stuff. And like basically the gases like make them essentially lose their minds. They start doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Then they start like, it's like after a few days of like screaming, yelling, and going crazy, they then go silent and they like stick a bunch of paper to the windows where they can't be seen anymore. So then when they finally go in to investigate, I think there's only one that's still alive. The other ones are like dead, ripped apart, disemboweled, whatever. And the one that's still alive is like formed into this, like he's like gouged his own face and all this sort of stuff. And basically like it turned them into creatures.
It was
Yeah.
basically like they gave them this gas that wouldn't allow them to sleep.
Yeah.
It was like they.
I guess I should have mentioned that part
Yeah,
of the
that helps.
sleep
Because
experiment part.
put me in a room. Thank you.
Yeah. It was basically they stuck them all in this room, and there was an invisible gas that they fed into the room that like made it.
Did
so
they
that
know
could
about the
not
gas?
Sleep.
I know this is a creepypasta, but
I don't
I
remember.
think they like were aware they were signing up to be like test subjects for something, but I don't know the details of like how much they like
circumstance,
what
yeah.
it was, but it was like
they would like whisper to themselves, and there were like
Yeah,
all
they
these, like
started-
they all like sat in their own separate corners, and they would just like whisper to themselves.
yeah, there's
and,
like a part of it
creepy
where
stuff.
they like the gases fucked with them so much that they started like seeing like life differently, and they were like basically like there is no God, we don't need a God because we are God, like all these things that were just like,
Yeah.
oh, we've seen a different form of what humanity is and what it means to be alive, and none of it matters, and this and like all
Yeah.
obviously way better well written than what we're
Right.
explaining it. But that was one of my favorite
Yeah, that's a
ones
good one.
that no one to this day has made a good movie or short
Oh
about.
my gosh, it
I
would
don't know
be-
how. Everyone
do it.
fucks it up. I wish. Everybody, every version I've seen of it.
okay, so people
kinda
have
sucks.
attempted to.
They have
to make
attempted,
it.
but none of them are like, they're all just poorly made.
Another, it's not a creepypasta, but the I'm Fantastic, Hey Hey. We talked about this.
That's what I was telling you guys about.
Scariest shit
the other
I've
night.
ever seen.
It's because there's a second one. We were talking about the other one.
I've never
of
seen
I
it.
Feel Fine.
Is that not the same one?
Is it the same
I
one
think
or is
it's
it a
the
different
same
one?
one. I think it's the
Is there
same.
fire behind her or no?
I don't know. I'm gonna be really honest. I will not watch it.
I don't want to look it up.
so-
And so I brought it up to them the other night.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, let's look it up. And I literally was like,
On your own time.
I do not want to
No,
be
it
here.
actually, and I didn't see it until I was with Zach, so I was like at least 20.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up so bad. Even when I say I'm Fantastic, Hey Hey, or like
Yeah.
anything like that, I get the heebie-jeebies.
Yep. Literally, when you brought that up, I got subtle cold chills.
Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it when we get home.
You
And-
should.
Because maybe I Feel Fine is the same, because they're the same concept.
Yeah. But like, so it's already just the creepiest shit you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just random rumors about the context of this mannequin and its like livelihood, and it's like a live entity, and it's in a like an abandoned house. So this video is immortalized on YouTube, and we don't truly know, and it feels so sinister. You watch the video and it feels wrong.
There's not like a lot. that
It's not
happens.
anything crazy. There's no editing. It's really old. This is like 2006
This
maybe.
is like early YouTube.
Like
Okay.
like one of the first videos on there, I feel.
2008 then probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Scariest shit ever. That's
Yeah,
probably that is like I will fight Michael Myers over watching that YouTube video.
Probably same.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
Yeah, I would also. Yeah, it
Now
just
I must.
sucks. I do want you to watch it and experience it.
I want to share that fear with everyone.
Yeah, I would love to know if you're like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, oh my god, I never want to see this again. In my
Now,
life.
have you guys ever firsthand experienced something creepy? Like, obviously watching something is like a whole different way of experiencing something, because it's a literally a product that's supposed to make you feel that kind
Yeah.
of way. What is something that's happened in your real life that like made the hair on the back of your neck stand up? Like, I want to hear.
There's one tiny thing that I remember as a kid that I don't really know. I think I was like halfway falling asleep or something. Super, super small. I was at my mom's house laying in bed trying to go to sleep. And I was laying. This actually made me afraid to put my ear to my mattress off my pillow for years. I was laying with my ear on my mattress, and I swear I heard someone laugh and say my name under the bed. Bad enough to where like I literally hopped out of bed, ran downstairs to my mom,
Sure.
and was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just heard somebody like laughed and said something on my bed. And she's like, I don't think you did. And then I think I
The
like
gaslighting of parents in those
Oh,
situations.
love it.
I
Just
am
like the
very
movies.
tired. I will not be dealing with the person under your bed tonight.
just like the movies. That was a very small thing that ultimately was like nothing. Like it was probably me halfway falling asleep, and
Yeah.
my like I'm half dreaming, half awake sort of thing. And I
Yeah.
heard that. I remember it sounding very real though. It sounded like perfectly muffled, like it came from under the
Yeah.
mattress. I have
Sure.
a larger story, but
I've told you
It's-
guys when angels were talking to me the night that my grandpa died.
Tell the people.
I told you. I have. I think. I
Well,
will
but this is the
reiterate. Yeah.
Halloween-
In case you weren't around before.
Yeah. Everyone listens to every episode.
That was season
No
one,
one-
Brittany. This is season 2,
Yes,
Brittany.
no one misses a beat. The night that my grandpa passed away, I don't know what time he passed away, but I was sleeping at my other grandparents' house. My mom and dad were going through a divorce, so my mom and my little brother were in the bed, and I was like 4 and he was 2, so he was in the bed with my mom, and I was sleeping on like gymnastics mats.
Okay.
And so fucking scary. My grandma's closet was mirrors, and I'm facing it.
Okay.
And I'm laying there with my eyes closed, and I just start hearing my name like multiple times. And it's scary to think about now because I know for sure that happened to me. It's not like I think I heard it, like really sounded like I heard it. I heard it multiple times. Like I opened my eyes and was like looking around for who was saying my name. But the weird part is that it just felt like we've had a whole religion episode. It just felt like angels. It didn't feel like a scary thing. I genuinely think my grandpa was like, it's been real. It's been fun.
yeah.
Right.
But I got to go. But I was so scared. And then I woke up and like bad timing to be like, oh, he died? So funny. I'm pretty sure he was here last night when I was
Yeah.
sleeping. But
Yeah.
I remember opening my eyes and just genuinely assuming that someone was going to be standing there as if like to wake me up, like my other grandparents,
Yeah.
that I was
Right.
at their house. And I just had to process that as a child
Yeah.
and be like, okay, that happened to me. It has never happened since, but it 1,000,000%, like 1,000,000% happened.
Leah, do you have something?
I have a lot of things.
Ooh.
Which I feel like
I mean,
I've also
ooh.
I feel like I've talked about, have I talked about some of this at some point? Maybe, I don't know. I will try to give a short version of this story because it went on for a very long time. I was obsessed with like TLC shows when I was a kid. I loved While You Were Out and Trading Spaces and all that stuff. And around that same time, I was about 10. My sister was like 14, getting to that age where she wanted her own bedroom. We had a room for me, but it was like basically like the computer room. You know, there was nothing really in there other than whatever. So I was going to get this brand new bedroom, and I said, hey, what if we made it like While You Were Out and you guys like painted the room and I didn't know what color, what, like you design it and then I'll just be surprised.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
I
that
literally
is.
was like, this is everything that I wanted as a child. Like I was so excited.
Yes.
So the theme, of course, that they chose for 10-year-old girl, that they probably just walked in and were like, flowers. Yes, there's flowers all over everything. We can find flowers on anything. I can put flowers on stuff. My mom has always been very good at sewing and that kind of stuff. So she they decked this room out with flowers. And there was this mirror that she got, which I assumed was from Target or wherever. And it was like this mirror, and it had like these flowers painted all on it, and it hung in my room until I got over the flower phase in my life, essentially, which wasn't that long after that, but then it ended up in a closet somewhere. It's all relative, I promise. When that happened, and I'm sure a lot of people could equate this to just, oh, you were in your own room for the first time ever. Like, that's probably a scary thing, you know, whatever. I used to see like figures. I would
Did
hear
she
things.
thrifted that fucking mirror?
She thrifted the mirror.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
That just fucked my
well,
whole nervous system.
Yeah. And I remember specifically being like drawn into the mirror, feeling like I could stare at the mirror and not like, oh, I could look at myself. Like,
No.
I could look at that mirror for a long time without thinking about it or realizing it. I remember eventually, like I said, grew out of that phase, and I have two older sisters. We switched rooms a lot. When somebody moved out and somebody went to college, there were all kinds of switches. When I moved rooms, it moved rooms with me. So I remember the last room that I was in when I lived in that house. So this was like most of my like teenage years. My sister had gone to college and then eventually moved back home. But you know, she had moved back into a different room. I remember I had this lamp that would like, whenever you were walking, it was like, no matter how many times you tightened it, it was like, you would hear this little weird like noise anytime you were walking in that room. And at night I could hear someone walking in the room, and I could hear the lamp kind of going, and I would hear voices. I remember cleaning my room once and stubbing my toe and yelling the F word as like top of my lungs. That hurt so bad. And I had one of those Russian
nesting
dolls, and it literally was in my closet and hit the wall on the opposite like side of the room, and I was alone in this room. There were so many things. My uncles used to live on Neal Avenue here in Columbus, and we used to come here every year for Easter. And big house. I mean, Neal Avenue has really nice, beautiful, big, huge houses. There was enough room for everybody. As kids, we were like, oh, we're staying at a hotel. We don't care. There's a pool. We never thought to ask questions about it. It was just what we did. And then I got older, and I remember my cousin was like, did you ever wonder why we always stayed at a hotel? I said, no, not really. She's like, Uncle Cricky's house was haunted. And I was like, what? People would get pushed out of bed. Like you would hear people doing dishes. There was a woman who, I think, if I remember the story correctly, killed her daughter in that house, and then went back to the house and killed herself in the house.
What?
And they had a clock that would stop at the same time every night. Like, there were all kinds of things throughout my life that I feel like I've always been the kind of person where I know a lot of skeptics. I know a lot of people that are like, everything can be explained. And I've experienced enough things in my life that I'm like, you can't explain everything.
And you can't change my mind. Like, I will not fight with you. Do not have to believe in anything.
Yeah.
But like,
I know what
I've experienced some shit.
I know
yeah.
what I've experienced. And you can say I was stressed. You can say I was young. I was a child. You can say whatever you want. I know what I've seen. I know what I've felt. I know what I've heard. And I've heard, seen, and felt a lot of things. So, yeah, I feel like, yeah, probably the one that stood out to me the most was definitely the one that, like, obviously followed me through my childhood. And then eventually my mom goes, what if it's that mirror? Because every night I would be in my parents' room.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to be alone. That was the biggest thing.
Because you didn't feel alone.
Yeah. And I remember my dad gave me, my parents, I mean, I grew up Catholic, and we've talked about that. But my mom was always kind of like, we're not doing this. Like, it's, you know, you need to be better about this. Like, you know, you have a wild imagination kind of thing. My dad gave me this, it's called a scapular, and it's a blessed piece of fabric that's like hung on this string kind of a thing. I'm explaining it very badly. I'm sure there's a lot of like tradition around the thing. And it says on the little piece of fabric, it's blessed by a priest. It says, whosoever dies wearing the scapular shall not suffer the fires of hell.
That is the scariest shit your dad could have done.
I still have it, and he gave it to me, and he said, nothing can hurt you while you're wearing this. And I used to wear it to bed every night. And I literally still have it to this day. I keep it in this little drawer in a jewelry box. Because I remember that Ouija board. Maybe it wasn't that one. I had the same one. My friend had the same one when we were kids. We had it at my house, and we were, kids. We used to mess with a Ouija board all the time. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Would never.
That's crazy.
But I remember coming home or waking up. I don't even remember. It was outside.
The Ouija board?
The Ouija board was outside, and I was like, guys, oh my God, the Ouija board moved. And I said something, and my dad goes, no, I put that out there. Do not bring that in my house.
That's hilarious.
So I know, finally it was weird that it was my mom, I guess, is the one that brought it up, who said, what if it's that mirror? And I was like, what mirror? And she's like, well, do you remember when we redid your room and you were like 10? We did all, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I bought that mirror from, like a garage sale. And I was like, I haven't had that in my room for like a long time. That mirror's long gone. Like, it can't. She's like, no, it's like still in a closet somewhere. Like, I always thought like we could always like give it to someone or whatever.
Well, and once you have that like mirror or anything in your space, you've already like opened the portal. It doesn't. You can get rid of the mirror.
Mirrors are portals.
Yeah,
1,000%. But once we got rid of the mirror, everything stopped.
Wow.
So there was that. That was like positive. But I will say, outside of the doll being thrown, and I had this. And nobody obviously told me this. Whatever. I felt it was a woman, and I didn't think that she had any kind of like evil or like, it wasn't like she was harboring resentment. There was no like negative energy, but there was energy. And when there's energy happening, I think it's almost like, more than anything else, it's more of a, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. Give me your energy. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I was experiencing.
Man.
My sisters also experienced things in our house, and a lot of times when friends would come over, they'd be afraid to spend the night at my house.
Wow. See, I have lived, I mean, don't get me wrong, would and will be terrified if anything really directly spooky ever happens to me. But I feel like I've lived my life kind of welcoming it. And I have nothing.
go thrift a mirror.
I guess I could go thrift a mirror.
I did thrift something only a few years ago that definitely had something.
What?
I picked it up from a thrift store. It was like a shadow box, but it was like the box itself looked like a living room on the inside. Like there were like little frames inside of it, and like a little like table with like a little thing of flowers on it, and you were supposed to put your photos inside the little frame, so it looked like they were hanging on like a wall.
That's cute.
So cute, but also super like weird and kind of like yeah. And I was like, I'm putting this in my bedroom on the wall because I have all kinds of like weird stuff just like hanging on my bedroom wall. And I thought about putting like creepy little photos like in the thing and everything. And I remember there was this one night, of course it was like a dark and stormy night. I had been drinking, so keep that in mind. I will fully disclose that that was happening. And I remember I was laying in bed. Nick was still up. I went to bed early because I'd had enough to drink that I was like sleepy from it. And it was storming really bad. And I swear it was like, so it was on this wall, the same wall that my bed was against. And then I was facing this wall. And when there was a flash of lightning, that wall turned into a hallway. Like I was looking down a hallway and there was a person standing at the end of it.
Oh, I love that.
And every time the lightning flashed, it looked like that person got closer and closer.
Wow.
But I didn't feel like I could move. So it could have been sleep paralysis. It could have been that I had too much to drink plus sleep paralysis. Could have been a million different things. But I
like,
do remember being like, we're getting rid of this.
Yes. And sleep paralysis, people are just like, yeah, that's a crazy thing that happens. That shit is so scary.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, people will literally be like, yes, I have sleep paralysis. How are you alive? How are you functioning?
I see a demon with red eyes staring at me from the corner of my room. Like,
Yeah.
For real.
And now I'm here doing your taxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Literally.
Yeah.
My friend.
They're just like us.
Yes, they're just like us, everyday people. My friend, throughout like junior high and high school, she had narcolepsy. She had a lot of sleep disorders, and so she had sleep paralysis every night of her life. And I remember her big movie that like freaked her out was The Ring, and every night the Ring girl would crawl up. She had a bunk bed, and the Ring girl would crawl up her bunk bed, and she'd be stuck there. And she would tell us every day, she'd be like, oh, I fought the Ring girl last night. And it got to a point where eventually we were just kind of like, oh yeah, wow, that's wild, because we knew that it was just part of her everyday life, because she was having sleep paralysis, and we knew that it was sleep paralysis. And to her, I can't imagine how real.
That's what I'm saying.
Insane.
Because
That
I've
had to have
experienced it, and just once, that was enough for me. It's like real in that moment. It doesn't matter if no one else can see
Yes.
what's going on. Like, you are fully in that world, in that moment.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I told you about the time Nick had sleep paralysis, right? And then I sleep talked. I sleep talk. I don't know if I've told you that.
No, I mean, you said something earlier.
Oh, okay. I
But-
sleepwalk. I sleep talk.
Sleep take pics.
I do. Yeah, I just sleep took photos of Nick. That was like a more recent thing. There was a night he had sleep paralysis.
This story's fucked.
I told him this story recently. He was having sleep paralysis, and he thought a woman was pressing down on his chest. A lot of people have that, like during sleep paralysis, it feels
where
like you're
not
being
allowed to
held
get
down.
up. Yeah.
He said there was a woman pressing down on his chest, and he thought she was trying to kill him. He had done an edible that night, like super hefty amount of it. Woke up, and he said, I stared at the clock for so long. I was staring at the clock. It felt like for an hour before the minute changed, and I thought I was dead because I stared at it for so long. And then it finally changed. So he was like, oh my God. So he sits up, and he's just like sitting there for a minute. And then I sit up in my sleep. No. And I turned to him and I said, did you hear what she said?
Literally the worst.
no.
The worst.
Oh my God.
Like, I would have woke me up, I think.
I
And
probably
been
would have
like,
punched
you.
you.
Need to just be awake right
How
now.
did he even just sit up calmly? Like,
Oh, after that happened. Oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
sure he probably had like a moment of like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
heavy breathing, sitting there looking at his phone. But it was like the moment that
I
he
would
came
have
down.
divorced you, Leah. I love you so much.
I would have just flipped. I would have started swinging. Like,
I literally told him, because after we watched a scary movie the other night, I was like, I hope you know, if anything ever happens and you get possessed, I'm not going to try to save you.
I love
Like,
you.
I am out of here.
I
If
will
I
go
have to kill
outside.
you,
So be it.
That's
I'm
just
sorry, but like,
that's just what happens.
it's just what's going to happen.
Do you know that
is
the
so scary.
slight change of subject, but still on the sleep paralysis thing? Do you know a real story of sleep paralysis inspired the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
Really?
A kid died in his sleep after continuously like telling a doctor and his family and all this sort of stuff that a man in his dreams was trying to kill him, and they were like, you'll be all right.
Is this a creepy pasta?
No, this is real. This is actually what
Ross is saying it, so I
inspired-
believe you.
Good, yes.
Creepy
this is-
Rasta.
This is what, wow, that's a...
That was so good.
Hey, go subscribe to my brand new show, Creepy Rasta, if you would like more scary stories just like this one.
Oh no!
It is another podcast, and it exists right now, just in time for Halloween. It inspired
Okay, that
inspired
is
A
terrible.
Did they
Nightmare on
ever-
Elm Street to be written, and
Did
the
they
kid
ever
died.
come up with like a cause of death?
I don't remember, but I don't think there was like a clear like the kid just died.
Wow.
And they don't know if it was like, oh, like he was having a nightmare and that it literally
Like a heart
gave
attack
him
or
a heart attack.
something.
Like that's like the main
mean-
thing. But yeah, he literally
How
would
do not more people die from like nightmares?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know.
Well, and it could have been his body trying to tell him something too. Like maybe there was something else going on underneath the surface.
Yeah, and it's taking
like,
form
it
in his
was-
brain of like
as Freddy fucking Krueger.
yeah,
Oh my
this
gosh.
thing is trying to kill you. But yeah. See, I've never experienced not one thing like all I have is my moving moon story. That's all I have.
We'll play with a Ouija board and we'll see how you feel after that.
We'll see. Unfortunately, I don't want to welcome it, but I like. I
As
just
long as
have
you use
follows
a
never-
healthy
you.
dose of sleep paralysis, I think.
I
Have
don't
you
want
ever
that.
had it?
Yeah. I always have like whenever I experience sleep paralysis, it's always like I'm in the process of waking up. Like so it's never like a long cuz again, I sleep talk and I sleep walk and all these different things. So my sleep paralysis I feel like a lot of the time doesn't work. So I feel like when I've experienced it, it was like more so like I experienced myself sitting up from it. And I
Yeah.
almost like am like I'm dreaming and I wake up sort of like and I'm halfway through the dream, halfway through reality.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to experience sleep paralysis, and I don't want to experience a ghost in my apartment.
I
But
want
at
you to
least just
experience
like
both.
one time, I would love there to be just something that I can't. Like a friend of mine texted me a couple weeks ago, and he like in all caps freaking out. He was like, "I just saw a UFO," and I was like, "Damn it." And he's like, I'm so dead serious. He's like, there was a couple other cars that pulled over on the side of the road. I think they saw it too. This is what it looked like. I'm freaking the fuck out. This is the craziest thing ever. And I'm like, dude, never once
Yet.
yet, I guess.
I definitely have seen a UFO.
I don't think every single time I think I've seen a UFO, I'm like plane. I'm like, look
I'm
at
like
that
plane.
Look at that plane up there. Look at that star.
I
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't want to be terrified, but I feel like I have put it out into the universe for years. I'm like, hey demons,
Yeah.
it's me, your boy.
I feel like the other thing too though is like if you're quick to write things off as just like, oh, that's the cat. Like I have cats because if things go bump in the
Yes.
night, I'm like, it's a cat.
That's the weird thing about me with like paranormal things is I love paranormal things, but I am also like 50% like
Skeptical.
I'm like, that doesn't. This is what that most likely
Yeah.
is. Like not, but the fun of it, I'm like, oh, but what if? But then I'm like, but most likely,
Yeah.
it's this thing.
But that's also a defense mechanism in your body to keep you sane.
Right, which that would make sense.
Because you're going to be like, yep, I believe that was the cat and I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah, from the dark, where she's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
That was the cat
Daphne,
laughing in my ear.
I can't believe you're talking again tonight. That's
Well,
so crazy of you.
I've told Nick, I'm like, you have way too much ADHD to experience anything because he will, if he even heard something and didn't tune in, because you have to be able to tune into those things. Because here's the way I see it. It's almost like, oh, what's that movie? Is it Insidious where they go into the like other world
yeah,
where
the
they
spooky realm.
and it's like it's just like, hey, it's dark and it's a bunch of people walking around and nobody knows what's going on. If they see a light, they're going to walk towards that light. You know what I mean? If there's a beacon of like portal, hey, something here, I can use this thing. It's the only thing around.
Curiosity, yeah.
If something goes bump and you don't react to it, you're just another shape in the thing.
Yeah, right.
If you tune in and you have your entire like sensory thing that is putting all of your energy into what the fuck was that kind of a thing where you're like, my cat's not over there. My, whatever it might be. Oh, a doll just flew across the room.
Yeah.
Those are the types of things where if it were anyone that were in a place where you didn't recognize anything, but you could get a reaction out of doing anything.
Yeah.
When, of course you're going to do that thing.
Yeah.
So
What I think we almost talked about this in the spirituality and religion episode, but we purposely saved it for this. What do we think ghosts are? What's your take on ghosts? Do you want me to start?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, I just talked a lot, so I'll let somebody else go first.
I will say I don't know. I don't have a heavy stance one way or the other. But I really lean towards the residual energy of someone that is
Yes.
left over, because you have like you have like the residual hauntings and the intelligent hauntings. Intelligent, that's when it gets into like, all right, maybe demons are real and they
Maybe
take the
this
shape
was never
of
a person.
and yeah, maybe it is moving stuff, and you get into poltergeist territory, which every internet video is clearly very fake, unfortunately. And so it's like, yeah, maybe it is for some reason tossing these very specific 3 cups on the edge of the counter. But I think when it comes to certain types of hauntings, I like the idea that like energy can be mirrored and refracted and like left over, and ghosts are an echo of something.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's just like an alternate reality for them. They're like kind of existing in their own plane. And even if they're like walking through your house, that doesn't mean that that's like what it looks like to them or for them.
Yeah.
Right.
And they could also be like almost feeling our energy in the same way.
Well, and that's something, the reason I love the energy thing and like it being echoed throughout time is like, that's why it's really simple things of like, oh, a person walked down this hallway and that's all I saw, or oh, I heard this one noise all the time. It's like it's literally a residual, like it's repeating itself because it's just an echo of something continuing.
We talked about something recently when we talked about my sleepwalking. Do you remember I told you I had a dream once? I was like half awake, half asleep, and I kept feeling like, specifically, there was a golden retriever in my bedroom. I did not have a golden retriever, but there was a dog in my room and it was whining to get out. And I literally could not sleep. I couldn't get comfortable because until I did that thing and let that dog out of that room, I was not going to be able to rest peacefully, so to speak. And I literally stood up out of my bed and I went and I opened up the door. And I told him this story because I was literally like, I stood up and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is so stupid. And then I was like, what if in an alternate reality, someone else is living in this home and I just opened that door for a dog?
Yeah. Because
you know what I mean?
That's what I think. That's not that's my like stand all be all. That's how I view ghosts and stuff. But like the overlapping of like time's not linear.
Yeah, I do like the idea that multiple dimensions exist all at once. Even sometimes like I like the idea that dreams are you visiting other timelines where like, because
I don't know if we have a dream episode. Do we?
I don't know. No, we don't have any.
I have a specific dream that I have 2. I have one that's very, very scary. And then I have one where Kelly and I are on vacation, and straight up in my dream, when I start this dream, I'm like, okay, let's resume our vacation. And I'm just living. We're driving through mountains and shit. Like, and I'm fully there. And then I wake up and I live my normal life. And then like a month later, I'll go back into this car on this road with Kelly, where we are just the same people we are in real life. Nothing crazy is happening at all.
Yeah.
But we're just experiencing this trip.
Yeah. I have a lot of dreams that are very normal life with one alternative thing.
Is now when you're in this dream, though, are you always in the same place in this car? Are you always driving?
We're always driving to like a new location, but it's like it restarts in the car. Like we'll go to the beach, or we've driven to like a hotel, but like when I enter the dream, we're on our way to wherever we're going, and we know where we're going already. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm back in the dream, wonder where we're going today. I go to sleep and I'm changing like the song on the radio immediately, and I already know that we have plans to do X, Y, and Z tonight.
Yeah.
Do you guys have dream places that you have revisited like that?
Yeah, I have
where
a really
you have like
scary one.
When you're in the dream and you're like, oh, I've been here before. Yeah, this door is over here and that thing's over, and then you experience that dream as if you were just walking to your local grocery store.
And it's a place that you've never actually been.
No, it is a dream location.
Yeah.
That only is in your dream, but you in your dream are like, oh, I'm in that dream place again.
So,
yeah, we're here.
I have a dream. It's a really, really, really big house. I can't think of like a show or something to compare it to. It needs a lot of work, but there's a lot of like secret hidden passageways in the house.
Hill House.
Yeah, it's pretty Hill House, but if no one was there to fix it up, like it just went to shit.
Okay.
And in my dream, there are people that I'm like friends with. I don't really know these people. Usually it's not people that I know. And they're just having regular conversation. They're doing like regular things. And I'm always drawn to go explore one of the hidden rooms. But actively, when I'm dreaming, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm really upset that I'm having a dream like this again. But I'm being pulled to all of these different rooms. And they're different every time. And I'm about to cry. It's so scary because no one comes with me. I don't talk to the other people that are just living. It's like I go into a trance. And then I'm like forced to go to these, like, I'll go through a crawl space that has like words written on the wall and shit. And I'm actively, because it's not like, you know, sometimes you're watching yourself have the dream.
Yeah.
I'm in this house.
Yeah.
I'm not watching myself in this house. I am the person like going through the house.
Yeah.
I'm making the decisions. I'm not going, don't do that. I'm going, fuck, I want to stop walking towards this. I want to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's so
still-
cool. I mean, not cool for you to experience, but cool to hear. Wow.
And it's so, my biggest thing about dreams, two things. That is really scary because for some reason I'm not asking for help or even having anyone like walk through this scary ass house with me. But two, when anything scary ever happens in a dream, no one believes me. It does not matter what it is. Any scary dream I've ever had where I go to tell a parent or whoever I'm with, they just go, okay. And I'm like, there's a serial, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very scared. There's a man hanging in that closet. Okay. Yeah. Every time. And I'm like, what? I feel crazy.
Yeah.
Every time.
What if you going into that house, what if that's a ghost version of you in another dimension and that's why you're just wandering
And
through
all those
and all
other
the other
people
people
But it
are
feels
also
bad.
ghosts?
I feels the energy in that house is there's like a staircase that it's almost like there's this nice part where all of these people hang out and no big deal. And then the other side of the house is like just really dark, really bad energy and just very mixed matched. And there's just a staircase. And the second you get to the staircase, that's when I realized that I'm in this dream. It like the energy shifts.
This sounds very Nell Returns to Hill House.
And this
as an
was
adult.
before like Hill House came out. I was
Yeah.
starting to have these dreams. And I would literally get pissed because I'm like, why am I in this house again? I don't know how this house, I have no known connection to this house, but I'm forcing myself to explore it.
That's wild.
Maybe it was a past life, like a place you were in a past life.
Well,
Yeah.
She needs to leave me alone.
I don't want to leave
Give
it
me
in the
peace.
past.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Yeah. Man, I have many reoccurring places that I go into dreams and reoccurring dreams and stuff like that, but they're never,
Scary.
no.
I feel like
Not
I
for you.
definitely have familiar places. Like I will be somewhere and I'll be like, yes, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, like I couldn't name one. Like I'll just be in a dream and I'll be like, ah, yes, we're here again.
This isn't spooky,
Kind of
but
like, oh, I know I'm going on vacation. Like I know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
almost like a preemptive, like I've been to this place, sure, but like, have I actually?
Right.
right,
I don't
yeah. Yeah. This isn't spooky, but if you guys have you ever lived a life in a dream that you woke up and then felt, and I'm not talking like, oh my God, I was famous and I wish I had that, but like I've had dreams where I was like clearly like with some girl or she was my
Oh,
wife or
God,
whatever.
yeah.
And then like you wake up and your body is still
Dream crush
processing.
hangovers.
Like and it's not like, oh my God, I was hanging out with Emma Watson. It was like, I don't even know who this person was.
Oh, I've never had that. I constantly am dating famous people in my dreams.
Oh yeah. See,
And it'll be people like there was like a week I had a dream about Josh Dunn. I don't give a shit about Josh Dunn, not even a lick.
right.
And madly in love, woke up madly in love, couldn't get over him. There was like a week where
That's
I
so
was like
funny.
mourning a relationship with a dude I don't care about at all.
I've experienced that, but I don't know who the girls are. It's not, and like,
That
yes,
makes it
like-
almost harder.
Like, yeah, I've experienced, sure, like, oh, I was dating so and so in my dream, or I had this celebrity or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, sure. But there are definitely dreams where like I have no idea who that was, but I just experienced this life with them, and then I wake up and I'm like,
She's
oh my
gone
God, like where,
forever.
yeah, I'm like, where are they? Like,
Yeah.
who-
There have
Oh
been
my
people
God,
that
like-
have had, so I have read on the internet, and that means it's true, but had like full lives in a dream where they wake up and they like had a child in their dream and then they wake
Yeah.
up without their child and they're literally go through like mourning.
I experienced that one
Yeah.
time.
I had that once.
I had a child in my dream, and felt like so attached to this child, like I'm assuming it feels in real life. And I literally woke up and I had to like for the first like 5 minutes of being awake, had to like legitimately emotionally process I do not have a child.
Yeah.
That was my brain doing that. That is not real. But I like struggled. And like, yeah, it was very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah. I feel like, have you guys ever had a dream where then something happened that happened in your dream? That's more common for me, I feel
Wait,
like.
I'm what?
Have you ever had something happen in your dream and then it happened in real life after?
Oh.
I'm trying to think. I feel as though, yes.
Yeah, I also feel like that's happened.
I also, unfortunately, I used to have a lot of nightmares as a kid. So my defense mechanism that I taught myself very young is to forget my dreams the second I wake up so I can function as a normal human. From like the age 7 until like 15, I would literally like wake up and find, something else to think about immediately. And so unfortunately, a lot of the times, unless it's a reoccurring thing like that house or my trip with Kelly, girls trip, my brain has learned to like shut down the second that I wake up, whatever like was happening in my dream, unless it was a very significant thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so we've talked movies, we talked creepy Rastas.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite last couple things? Like, do you have a favorite real life like crazy thing? Like creepypastas are obviously made up.
Right.
Movies are movies. Is there like an unsolved mystery or something crazily like paranormal that you think is really cool? And then I think we leave the people with like some spooky referral to go check out.
I love it.
And then we ghost on out of here.
Real life.
I have one.
Okay. Let's hear yours then.
The Dyatlov Pass incident. Do either of you guys know of that? This is one of the biggest actual unsolved mysteries to ever exist. So another Russian thing for some reason. A group of...
What are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, what's going on? A group of Russian hikers.
Oh, yeah. I do know this one.
So yeah. They go up this like mountain and they're traversing it, all this sort of stuff, all very skilled. They know what they're doing, all that sort of stuff. And then basically what happens is they go missing. They don't return. And people knew that they were there. So they go send a search party and they find all of them dead. But to this day, they have not been able to pinpoint why they're dead. They have like, there's all these weird inconsistencies, like, because the main thing is like, oh, hypothermia set in, they got hit by a snowstorm, and that can make your brain act crazy because like most of them were found naked and you see a trail of clothes leading to their body. So they were actively stripping their clothes off, which is a part of, I guess, like really, really harsh, like hypothermia, like your brain, literally, you're like, no, I'm too hot. I need to get out of these clothes. Like it'll trick your body into reacting a certain way. But there's like stuff like that. There's wounds on some of them. But like, again, nothing's consistent with any of them. One of them was missing their tongue. Their tongue had been cut out. Another one had a bunch of like broken ribs and internal injuries with no external injuries whatsoever.
Chrissy crumbled.
What's that? What?
The Chrissy crumble?
Chrissy crumble.
Yeah, like when Vecna breaks all Chrissy's bones.
I was about to do that.
I was like, huh?
Chrissy, wake up!
But yeah, they have all these weird inconsistent injuries, and they found like heavy traces of radiation in the area as well.
Well, that'll do it.
There's like all these different things of like, okay, did they just lose their minds and go crazy? Did one of them start killing everybody, then kill themselves somehow? Obviously, people are like aliens, Bigfoot, military experiment, like all these sort of things. And there was, from the natives in the area, there are many tales of bright orange lights that they believe are spirits of the mountain. But there's a bunch of past stories of bright lights that swirl the mountain often. So that obviously encourages people to be like, yeah, these guys got fucked up by aliens. But that is probably my favorite real life incident, like unsolved mystery that heavily dips into the paranormal because nobody knows how they died at all.
Yeah.
And it's just scattered with all these like this weird stuff. So
I think for me, I don't know if I would consider this like a paranormal thing, but I would definitely say it's a phenomenon. And one of the reasons that I believe in reincarnation is there are so many like
That's
little
what I was
kids
gonna say.
that have memories that don't fucking belong to them.
Yeah.
There was this thing on Netflix. It was called Surviving Death, and there were literally like people that had near-death experiences. That was like one of the episodes. It was like surrounding those types of things. A lot of them were just like people going through loss and different like, like cardinals and butterflies being visited by little things. But one of the episodes specifically was about kids having memories that were not their memories. And they literally interviewed this guy who at this point, I think now, like during the interview, was probably like 17, maybe. He was still like living at home, not fully an adult, but like he was old enough that like he remembered it. And he basically said, I had someone else's memories inside my head. He said he told his parents, this is where my plane crashed, and then they found the plane. He reconnected with like his daughter who was still alive and like knew all this stuff about it, but like he was still this kid living in this body. And it was just like these things were coming to him almost like he was being split between, his body as a vessel was being split between, like shared in half by two
teenage
people.
boy, and then this like.
Well, it was when he was younger, and then as he got older, he said that like it started getting less and less. That to me is something that I think is the thing that I would love to know more about, or like the thing I would love answers to, because it's one of those things where you're like, you can't make this up.
Yeah.
A kid has a wild imagination, sure, and maybe like there's an off chance that they might get one or two things right or guess one or two things, but knowing the exact location of where a plane crashed, of like, you would never know this, you're 4, like, they're not interested in history. Cool. They're not interested in any of that stuff. It's literally just a memory that they have. They remember that they had this car. They remember like everything about their life, their name, everything. And that to me is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Is
that's
two
wild.
souls, like one body.
That's dope.
2 girls.
I saw that video.
I'm just
One
piggybacking off of that. That was going to be mine, because I think about, and I watch those videos all the time.
Yeah.
And they'll show like evidence of the stuff. They'll show like pictures of people that were dead long before the kid was born.
Yeah. And there's no correlation. These people could have been dead for hundreds of years. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I remember, like I was in World War I. This is where my ship sank. Like,
yeah.
You don't even know what World War I is. You're 2. Like,
you're 2.
Right.
So yeah, those are things that I think are freaking crazy.
Well, I'm sure we could sit here and talk about all the spooky things in the entire world, because I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I would love to just ramble on and dive into, but maybe we save it for another one.
Yeah.
Maybe we save it for another time. Maybe next Halloween, or we just turn this podcast into a spooky podcast.
Honestly,
we stop talking about
bad idea.
New name. Good. Honestly, not a bad idea.
Love it.
Let us.
I
let
like
us know.
Creepy Rasta, but that's fine.
Actually, yeah. No, I want that
TM.
one. Yeah. Well, it's not mine anymore.
It's going to be my new podcast.
Okay.
Guys, if I can get the rights to Creepy Rasta, that will be the new show coming your way. But for now, what if we leave people with something to go enjoy this spooky season? It can be a movie. It can be a creepypasta to go investigate. It can be a whatever we want them to do. What is it?
I'm going to leave people with the best things for the holidays. Do like a themed movie night where your food is involved with it. Earlier in the episode, I talked about my mom would do scary story nights and the food would be like involved in the story. You could do that. That's super fun. But I just always recommend people watch H2O during October, because it's got the spooky vibes. You can watch the regular Halloween. That's a no-brainer for a lot of people. But a lot of people haven't seen H2O. So I'm recommending that because it should be higher on the tier.
Fair. Leah? Oh, me. You pointed at me. I asked this question. We had this plan from the very beginning, and I don't have something hyper-specific. But even though I watch them all year round, my answer is scary movies.
Yeah.
I love ramping it up during the month of October. And I think people pretend that they do. I think like I talk to a lot of people, they're like, oh man, spooky season. I'm like, what movies have you watched?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, none. So this is me encouraging you to actually take some time.
Yes.
Go get a list of
Get in
movies.
the
There's
scene.
so many hidden gems of movies out there that
Yes.
way too many people don't know
And
about.
like regardless of what like mood you're in, like we just recently watched like The Faculty. Like if you want something
yeah.
2000s, like there are so many different.
Reach out
like,
to us if you tell us what you're looking for. We'll give you a
Yeah,
suggestion.
I guarantee between the three of us, we have nearly every horror movie that's ever existed that we could offer you.
So what are you going to offer them as like a specific movie?
If
then?
I'm going to give you a specific movie that I want to say Grave Encounters because I love that movie, but it's a specific kind of niche type of movie. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say go seek out the movie Autopsy of Jane Doe.
That is a good one.
It is such a good movie. It is like the perfect spooky vibes, dope story. I think people would really enjoy it. So if you want one from me, that's the one I'm giving you away for free. The rest of them on the Patreon.
I'll give you this one for free.
If I had a movie recommendation, for sure it would definitely be Cobweb. We just watched that the other night, and it's the same people that made Barbarian, which we actually talked about right before we
Yeah.
started filming. It's so good. It was so good. It came out this year in July. It really got overshadowed by Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Which, you know, rightfully so. But it was fantastic. Highly recommend it.
I'm going to take you up on that. So let us know what you take us up on.
Yeah, all things spooky and scary. If you have traditions that you've got, I feel like just like hone into those this time of year. I mean, we do our house decorating. Tonight we're decorating. I think we're gonna make cupcakes that we always decorate, and we make those spooky. We always carve a pumpkin. Like, do whatever feels like spooky season to you. For us, I think that's all year round. So
Realistically.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, we're going to ramp it up a little bit because we're going to go play with the Ouija board. We're going to see if we can conjure something up to follow me home and give me some spooky
and
experiences.
hopefully it follows you and not
Yeah,
me.
seriously.
At all. Yeah, unfortunately, apparently nothing in the paranormal realm attracts itself to me. So it's probably likely going to attach to one of you guys. I think that Brittany and I's friendship originally got built off of the fact that she thought I brought a ghost to her apartment.
Well,
So
he did. The second we started hanging out, my neighbor did die.
I had
so.
nothing to do with that. And I did not conjure up any spirits. But if anything, they don't want to hang out with me, so maybe I do bring them to places and drop them off.
Yeah.
But I don't
They
know.
just piggyback on. They're like, there's just, and they're always colonial. You know, you got these people in like colonial garb. They're just.
I'm telling
hanging
you.
yeah, we didn't even
she-
talk about that. When did people stop becoming ghosts? 'Cause there's no
my
hipster
neighbor
ghosts.
worked downtown in like a museum where she like cosplayed as a Victorian lady.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. So like I just would see her and I'd be like, yeah.
Yep. You're
All
gonna
right.
be a ghost if you not one already.
Well-
Maybe she was dead the whole time.
She was never there, just like we were never here. One candle is about to burn out. That means
I've been watching
Our
it
time
this
is
whole
up.
time.
it's time to ghost out of here.
Okay.
Goodbye.